everyone, my pet family, and not my pet family, my PEP, P-E-P. I am not calling y'all animals out there. But welcome to another empowering episode of Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha. Today is a little different because it's kind of an impromptu podcast that I'm doing. I definitely have a content calendar that I go by so that I have some sort of, method to my madness. Plus, I have a lot to say. But there are times where I just have to get out and really just say what's on my heart. And again, this podcast is about real-time journey, okay? And this is one of those real-time raw moments because I have been going through something that is so super hard. And I've been sitting here having a conversation in my head all morning about it. And I decided, you know what? I need the help of my friends, family, and listeners. And this is also me really talking it out to God. And that's really what I'm doing here is praying to God and talking to you because I know I'm not the only one that is experiencing this type of calling, I should say. And a lot of times it makes it easier when you hear somebody else going through it. And so that's what I'm here for. I am telling you what I'm going through and what I'm struggling with. I know I did. I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but right now it is September. And I did a little Instagram, not a live, but just like a short little video on when we are being called to a waiting period in our life and on our journey. And this actually came from a devotion that I came across right in the nick of time. Definitely God speaking to me. So I'm here to take my own advice. But we are going to be called to wait at some point in our life, especially when we are being guided by the Lord and when we are waiting for answers or we're waiting for clarity or we're being prepared. We are being prepped for the next phase in our life, the next phase in our journey. And it's in that waiting period where faith really grows and confidence grows and trust grows because waiting actually takes practice. We are so used to, as soldiers of Christ, we are so used to moving and fighting and going left and going right and plowing through. We are so used to going after task after task after task that when the Lord tells us to sit and be quiet and wait on him, we don't know what to do. We're like Dennis the Menace, where we're sitting there we have to sit on our hands because that big red button is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the words that say, don't push, are really transforming before our eyes as saying, push me, push me, push me. So it is really uncomfortable at times. And quite honestly, that's how I feel right now. I am uncomfortable in my waiting period. I am in a huge transition of staying where I'm at in my quote unquote career, which is a 9-to-5, and moving to or transitioning to this purpose work full time. The only thing that's keeping me is the security of a check and health insurance for my family, which, you know what, I'm not even going to say that because honestly, we can get health insurance on our own. I don't need an employer to have it. It's really the security of a check. And it's not amazing, awesome, crazy amount of money. It's really not. It would be pretty simple to supplement that income, but I'm not leaving because I'm just fed up with this job that I'm at. And I want to look for another job. I would be leaving so that I could pursue this full time. The podcast, my course creation, my true purpose that God has called me to do, and I have finally realized. But it's scary. Why? Because it's not making money right now. And I know it sounds like, okay, well, chase purpose, not money, right? And that comes from Patrice Washington, my coach, and that is her motto for everything that she does. So that's where I got that from. I did not make that up myself, but I am a purpose chaser. And yes, I am chasing purpose, right? But it's scary when those bills are staring you in the face and you have a responsibility of kids and a husband who also works, but you combine your income together and you're making it, but not by much. And I know that my security should not be in money. And I know that the Lord is going to provide, but I am stuck in the middle of, when do I make this decision? I know, looking into the future, that this is what I'm going to be doing full time. I know that I am eventually going to be my own boss. I know that Megan De La Concha is going to be an LLC. I know that I'm going to have employees in the future. I know that I'm going to have a bomb ass course. I know that my purpose, I'm going to be living it from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I know that's all coming. There is no doubt in my mind that that is my next step. Where I'm stuck at is when. And I think for a lot of people, that's really the big question. I think a lot of people know what they want to do next, and the vision is very clear, but it's the gray area in the middle. It's the, when do I do this? Because there are two ways that we react when the Lord calls us to wait. And one of those is retreating back to what we know out of fear and confusion. For an example, that would be me kind of just closing the book on all of this stuff, maybe just kind of riding the podcast wave for as long as I can, but not really pursuing much else, and just working to work, knowing that I just got to get this check, clock in, clock out, and get that check. It's my responsibility to my family. I'm grateful for this job. God gave me this job. I'm just going to focus on that because it's secure, right? So that's how retreating back would be, or would look like for me. The second way we react is we move forward in presumption. And I've said it again, or I've said it before and I'll say it again. That is my default state. I have taken both of these paths many, many, many times in my life. And I can honestly say, which is a little bit scary because it makes me question decisions in my life, but obviously the Lord was looking out for me. But this is one of those times where I'm not taking either path, because my dedication to the Lord and my relationship to Him has grown and deepened so much that I'm wiser than that now. I know that I don't know anything. I know that without a doubt. And I know that I cannot do anything without the strength of God. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what I need to do for myself. Okay. So those are the two ways that we react. And I'm standing right in the middle because I want to push forward with presumption. Trust me, I really, really, really do, but I'm not going to. And to remind myself on how the Lord wants us to wait on Him is not just waiting and sitting still and just kind of, meandering along our day, but it's waiting in prayer. And that is to lay your case out before the Lord and express what difficulties you're having. Now, God already knows your heart, but He has called upon us as His children to go to Him and to ask Him things. That's how we communicate, right? Like our mom and dad, you know how or our caregivers, they knew what we were doing before we even did it, but they waited for us to tell on ourselves. Yep, been there, done that. And I found myself telling my kids that too. That's exactly what God does. He's our Father. We are His children. He already knows what we're about to do. He already knows what's on our heart. He already knows what difficulties we're facing, but He's waiting for us to tell on ourselves. He's waiting for us to come ask Him for help. So lay your entire case out there and tell Him what it is you are struggling with. and then ask for his aid, which he's promised us over and over again. And let me tell you something else on that note. The Bible states, and I can't pull up scripture right now, I'm not that good yet, but the Bible does state that multiple times over, mind you, nothing gives God greater joy than when his children call him out. He wants you to call him out, not disrespectfully, but firmly. He wants you to say to him, God, you know what? You said and you promised that you would guide me. You promised that you would show me. So show me, guide me. I'm asking you to fulfill the promises that you have given to us. And that delights his soul because he's like, yes, I've been waiting. I've been wondering when you're going to call me out because I've been sitting here telling you, showing you all that Googling search. I've been showing up, all those friends you're asking, all that family you're asking. I'm talking to you. I told you I was going to give you this, but I've been just waiting for you to come to me and say, yo, God, when are you going to show up like you said you were? That God loves that so much. So call him out on it. Ask him for the aid that he has promised us. So waiting in prayer and giving it up to God is the first way we can wait on the Lord. The second way is to wait with simplicity of the soul. And I got to say that this kind of took me a little bit to kind of understand because the devotion book that I have, and I don't know why I haven't switched. I just think because every time I go to switch an app, I read a devotion and it really catches me. So I'm like, all right, I'll stay with this one. But it's a lot of these and the thys and thous and, just old world language that I am like, huh? So when they explained this one in my devotion, it took me a little bit to grasp it, but I got it. And basically, it's just waiting with simplicity of the soul, practicing humility, being humble in the Lord, finding your servitude and obedience, a humble, obedient heart. And when you are willing to let his will guide you, then you are acting, you are waiting with a humbled heart, meaning you're not inserting your own, self-confidence. And I mean that in like what's best, not, I'm confident in the positive way, meaning that you're just going to do what you want to do because you think that that's what you should be doing. So when you wait with a humble heart, you wait with simplicity. That's it. That's it. Because you're willing to let God's will guide you. And the third one, for those of you watching, yes, I have my notes today, is waiting in faith. And that is to express your unstaggering confidence in the Lord. And I admit, it's scary. It's really scary. Sometimes it's hard to believe or 100% trust something that you can't see, smell, taste, or touch. But that's the definition of faith. I mean, really. Faith is believing in something that you can't necessarily see. Now, that's kind of a half-truth for God because he's in everything. And you can see him and you can taste him and you can smell faith and you can feel faith, right? But no, it's not like I'm reading something and the ink on this paper and it's telling me I opened a guide. The guide is the Bible. But waiting in faith is trusting and being so confident that God is going to show up at the right time. And he is going to give you the vision that is so clear and so concise that no matter if you're taking a leap of faith, no matter if you're walking or it feels like you're walking off the edge of a cliff, the vision is so clear to you that you're like, I'm going because I know this is where I'm at. I know without a doubt, and nothing can shake me from that. And it's okay if you don't feel that right now. You will. You will. That's why it's called waiting. That's why you have to wait in faith. And when you also wait with an unfaithful heart or an untrusting heart, that's just an insult to God. Like, I'm waiting. Hello, tick tock goes the clock. Okay. Well, you can just sit there and wait a little bit more, right? It's obedience. Again, go back to your kids, or go back to, if you don't have kids, I mean, to your pet, to your dog. If you have to relate it to something, but you can go back to even when you were a kid, and how much more quicker did you get an answer, or did you get a reaction from your parents or your teacher when you obeyed, when you just waited and you had confidence that your parents were going to show up and show through, or your teacher or your caregiver, your grandparents, your auntie, your uncle? When you fought it, or when you gave them an attitude, or you were like, yeah, let's see, it only created resistance on both ends. And God is the God of all gods. He doesn't know resist. I mean, he doesn't have to resist nothing. But he's going to wait until you are walking and waiting in pure faith and say, you know what, you got this. And I'm going to know when I know. And I trust that. I trust that, God, you are going to let me see what it is I need to see when I need to see it. And yes, right now, I want to see it right now because I want to start making some moves. I'm excited. I'm passionate. And I also want to be out from this job that's been frustrating me to all heck. Really. I mean, every single day, it's like things are just turning and turning and turning. And I'm even like, is this a sign, God? Is this a sign? I don't know. Is it you telling me this, or is it me telling me this because I want things to move? So that's how I know when I'm still a little bit questioning that fact, whether it's my voice or his voice, I still got to wait. I got to wait. And I know that God is going to show me when I'm supposed to be shown. And I know it's coming. And I have the utmost faith and trust in the Lord and confidence that the vision he gives me, I'm going to be like, that's it. I feel so good about this. It's scary, yes, but but the way I feel about the benefit coming, or knowing what's coming after this risk, you know that feeling. You know it. You've had it before when you feel it deep in your bones. And another signal to me that tells me I need to keep waiting is because I am still practicing a little bit of impatience. You ask the Lord and all that is fine and dandy, right? You pray to him. Oh, I trust you, God. I trust him. He's going to show me. He's going to show me all in God's time. Yep, yep. You say all the things that you need to say. But what are you doing behind the scenes? Oh, you're asking your coworker. You're asking your best friend. You're asking your mom. You're asking your dad. You're asking your husband. It's like you'll ask anybody in your path because you want an answer right now. You'll Google it. What does God say about this? What does the Bible say about this? You look for blogs, you listen to podcasts, you read articles. And then what happens is you take those as signals from God. Like, oh my God, I just read this amazing article about this woman who just up and quit her job, and she went and traveled the world, and she got in touch with this person and that person. And all of a sudden she got this amazing sponsorship or a grant or all this money, and now she's just living her best dream and making more than she ever thought she could imagine. And that's what I'm going to do. You're looking for things to try to validate your own presumption, your own self-will. So you have to recognize that's not God giving you a sign, that's you looking for the sign. Because when God gives you the vision, when God shows you the answer, which is right around the corner, you will have no doubt, and you weren't even looking for it. So when you recognize these behaviors, just like me, because this is what I'm currently doing right now, let me tell you, I've told my story to maybe 3 different people, right? How annoying is that? My mom, 2 of my girlfriends, my husband hears it all the time. And I really wanted to reach out to somebody else and ask them, what should I do? Do you think this? Do you think that? Like, Megan, come, girl, come on. For real. That is me recognizing that I might have a little bit of untrusting faith right there. Because the only person that I need to be talking about is my husband, so we can pray on it together, and God. That's the only person. But because God's making me wait and it's uncomfortable, I'm asking everybody else around me. So guess what? I'm going to wait a little bit more till I'm ready for the answer. And that's why I'm confused. Is it my voice? Is it his voice? Well, right now it's probably my voice because I'm just looking for ways to validate what I think should happen. And that brings me to my 4th point, or the 4th way on how we can wait on the Lord, or how he wants us to wait, I should say. And that is waiting in quiet patience. There's that P word again. And this sentence, I just saw it, and it is so for me right now. And it's not rebelling or having a rebellious attitude or actions because you are under affliction. Woo! Come on now. Come on now, God. Y'all, that was a message right there for me. God wrote that for me. He slipped into my notebook and he wrote that down there. I swear. Not rebelling because you are under affliction. That means so many things. I could just probably cut this podcast off right now because I got it. I got the word. I got the message. I got it. I'm laughing at my dang goofy self. But yes, blessing God for it and not rebelling. I'm going to read that sentence again because I know I chopped it up. But waiting in quiet patience and not rebelling because you are under affliction, but blessing God for it. Okay. Do not grumble or murmur or complain against the case, against his cause, but accept it. Accept the full case as it is and put it simply with your whole heart, without your self-will. There's that word again. Into the hands of God. And that's basically saying, in layman's terms, to just accept this in its entirety. Accept it for what it is. And know that God is coming through. And accept it with your whole heart. Let the Lord's will be done in all things. Sorry, I really am just stunned by that sentence. Like, that was just a moment, you guys. It really was just a moment that God had with me, and I'm a little stunned. I'm really learning a lesson here. But to continue in waiting in quiet patience is to let the Lord's will be done, because we don't know what to do. And I just said that in the beginning of the episode, and I'm going to say it again. We don't know what to do without God's guidance. And keep our hearts fixed upon God. Our mind, our thoughts, our prayers, our communication. Going back to what I was saying about asking your friends and your family for advice and what would you do and what would you do, and asking for a friend. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I even posted something on Facebook about it in a private group that I'm in. Yep. So there you go. Still asking other people. God is laughing at me right now because I'm laughing at myself. He's like, girlfriend. Oh my goodness. But again, my heart needs to be fixed upon God alone. And my spirit needs to wait for God in full conviction. I keep looking down at my notes for those of you watching because I just keep reading this sentence over and over again. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm really moved. I am shooketh. Again, shooketh. I feel like I should crawl into a hole right now and be like, my bad. I knew it. I swear he slid into my notebook and he wrote that down. My mind is just blown. But that's a learning lesson for me right there. See how God shows up? And I have no doubt my heart needs to be fixed on the Lord, not everybody else or every little sign I'm looking for. My patience needs to be built in confidence. My faith is in the trust of God's hands. I will wait on the Lord in full conviction with a whole heart, because God is my joy and He is my refuge. He is my salvation and my strong tower. He is it. My mountain, my tower, my shadow, my peace. No matter what, my rod, the staff, everything that comforts me, everything that is the ultimate strength is the Lord. And that's where my patience needs to lie. And I'm in the middle of that waiting period, and I will obey. I am content with where I am right now. I am declaring that today in God's holy name. I am content. I will no longer serve emotions towards this, serve frustration, serve anger. No longer will I have that attitude and that stress. My blood pressure will not be up. My heart rate will not be in the fat burning zone all day long because I'm over here stressing about something that I don't have any control of. My job is to wait on the Lord through prayer, through a humble heart, through faith, and through quiet patience. We're going to see what the next few months bring us, but I'm telling you what, I just had a conversation with not only y'all, but God, and He answered back. He answered me back in the middle of this podcast. And it is undeniable. I felt that in my gut, in my spirit. So if you're having trouble, if you're in the middle there, and you either want to retreat back to what you know because you're uncomfortable and you're confused, and it's just easier to go that way because there's security in it, or if you want to push forward because you just think that you know best and you can see all and you know the future and you know exactly what's going to happen, I urge you to take these 4 steps and really just wait on Him. Because when He shows up, just like He did today, in the last 5 minutes of this podcast, you will have no doubt that it is Him. And it's okay to continue to talk to Him and to yourself. And it's okay to say, I don't really know whose voice I'm listening to. Is it mine? Is it His? But that just shows, that's just another signal that you just have to keep waiting. Persevere. Whether it's day 20, day 100, I've said this before, your miracle is right around the corner. The answer that you've been searching for is right around the corner, but keep doing God's work. Keep moving in purpose. Keep waiting in faith. It is going to come to you. I promise. I promise, because I'm promising myself. I am waiting in faith, you guys. And we will have an update when God gives me the update. So thanks for listening to this impromptu conversation. I hope this has helped somebody out there who feels like they're truly stuck in the middle. You're not. You're just waiting. And to continue to wait on the Lord. You can follow me on all my platforms below: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please subscribe, please rate, please review, please like, please share. We're here as a community, and I'm here to build it with you guys. I hope you all have an amazing, wonderful, empowering week.